In this video, you're going to see what shape keys do and discover a few ways to make them yourself. Shape keys achieve a level of animation that Armature alone may find difficulty doing. They're a quick answer to complex facial expressions. This head I made will serve to show examples of what you can accomplish as an animator. Let's select the face in object mode and take a look down here in the data properties. There will be a shape keys selection just under the vertex groups. At the moment, it's empty, but once we click on this plus sign, we get a new shape key called basis. This shape key represents our object's default shape, the way it looks normally without any deformation. Let's click on the plus sign again. We now have a shape key called key 1. In this one, we will be making alterations. I'm going to go ahead and rename it real quick though. I'll name it Surprised Brow. Let's go ahead into the sculpting workspace. This is where I like to make most of my shape keys. So what I want to do is raise my character's brow and make my character look more alert. Easy enough. But before I do it, I need to make sure that I have Surprised Brow selected. Luckily, it's already selected for us. Now, when we select and highlight it in the data properties, this lets Blender know that we're working on that shape key. So any changes we make on our mesh will be saved to that shape key. Now, if the basis was selected, we would just end up changing our base mesh, and that's kind of not what we want to do. So, Surprised Brow, let's get right to it. Seeing as we're sculpting with this, I'm going to go ahead and bring it all the way to 1 so that it registers. And here we go. I'm going to bring the lid up as well. Let's pull this up, shall we? I'm going to get a little bit closer just so I can fine-tune these parts here. There we go. Right, so that's done. I'm going to go ahead back into object mode and take a look at my handiwork. So we already see the changes that we made. Right now, it's set to a value of 1. I can actually bring it down, and it goes back to our default. As we slide Surprised Brow from 0 to 1 and back again, we see our shape key slowly changing in a smooth motion. So let's have a look at all this stuff here. A shape key, by default, is set to a minimum of 0 and a maximum of 1. At 0, the shape key is doing nothing, as you can see. Just a regular default shape that we've had before. But of course, when we drag it to 1 or anywhere in between, you activate the shape key and cause it to deform your mesh. We can actually change the minimum and maximum if we so desire. Setting the minimum to a negative number, let's say -1. After doing that, we have the option to go into the negatives. And that gives us an opposite effect to the shape key we just made. Looks like he's a little angry right now. Of course, if we go a little farther, it starts breaking on us. So we got to be really careful how far we take this. I'm just going to go ahead and bring that back to 0. So what happens if we bring the maximum to 2? Also, raising the maximum from 1 to, say, 3, then bringing the shape key value even further beyond, it makes our shape key more prominent. Don't go too far, however, because it'll probably start breaking. You can also animate your shape key, giving it a purpose in your animation projects. Let's head on over to the layout so we can see our time slider. I'm going to go ahead and bring the time slider to 20. Then back into data properties. I'm going to right-click on the value for Surprised Brow and insert a keyframe. Then, once that's done, I'll bring it over to frame 40 and do the same thing. But I'm going to set the value to 1. There we go. Let's go ahead and turn on the dope sheet so we can actually see this. Ah, there we go. So I can actually play this, and it plays it out for me. So this probably gives you some ideas of what you can do with shape keys. Imagine making a couple dozen of these for your characters. You could make them show emotion in your animations. It is certainly possible and worth the effort. So let's explore some more useful tools for our shape keys. I'm going to make a smile shape key real quick, but I'll be doing just one side of the mouth. I'm going to go ahead and call this smile left. There it is. That is, of course, the model's left, not mine. So it'll be this side of the mouth. I'm going to go ahead and start sculpting that. Like I did before, I'm going to go ahead and bring this all the way to 1 so that we can actually work on that layer. And it looks like I have symmetry turned on. I'm not going to want that, actually. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off up here. And now we can get to work. Looks like I'm going to need to use the inflate tool just to bring this cheek out a little bit. Ah, that's much better. Do you see that? Oh yeah, definitely. There we go. That's a good start, I think. Okay, so with that done, I want to make the right smile, the other shape key that takes care of this side, but I don't want to sculpt the right side and waste all of that time trying to keep it identical to the original. Let me show you a better way. I'm just going to go ahead and clear the keyframes for this. No need for it. Okay, so in Blender 4.5, we actually got a simple but useful duplicate shape key button that we find right here behind this arrow. With my left smile selected, I'm going to hit duplicate shape key, which will end up making another left smile shape key. And they're kind of on top of each other, which is giving him an even broader left smirk. It's kind of breaking his cheek there. That's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and leave this at 1, just so we can see what happens next. I'm going to go ahead and call this smile right as well. With the smile right selected, I'm going to go back to this arrow, and I'm going to find mirror shape key. This will flip my selected shape key to the other side of the mesh, assuming that my mesh is completely symmetrical on the x-axis. The mirror shape keys function will only work smoothly if your mesh is symmetrical, so definitely keep that in mind and double check if you can. So having both of these shape keys dialed up gives me a full smile. But since I have 2 separate shape keys to work with, I can adjust each one's intensity to give me more of a smirk. Now with all the work we've done so far, he looks a lot less grumpy, so I call that a win. So before I end this video, I want to show you a way to make shape keys using armature. So I've already gone ahead and made this very long cube, and I've given him a sort of spine of bones. So I'm going to go into pose mode, and I'm just going to bend it. Then I'll go back into object mode and select the object. Now let's go into the modifier properties. There's the armature modifier that allows us to see the effects our armature has on our mesh. I'm going to click on this down arrow and then go to Apply as Shape Key. What that does is sacrifice my armature modifier and create a shape key for me. It looks a little weird going from 0 to 1, but that's still a pretty good example that shows you that you can easily make new shape keys using armature. So if you happen to have a character that is fully rigged up and their face is covered in bones and you can move them around and make all sorts of expressions, if you want to lock those expressions to a shape key that you can edit later, like so, just go into the modifier properties and apply your armature modifier as a shape key after posing. Of course, this does mean losing your armature modifier, so I recommend making a duplicate before you do any of that. That way, you can have the original armature modifier, and you also have your shape key. So after watching this video, you should now have quite a few ideas on how to make shape keys on your own. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do with these shape keys. You're not limited to just animating them here. You can make shape key drivers, but that's another topic for another video. So thank you for watching this one, and I'll see you later.